right, Arson fans, welcome back to the first AB Reactions Wrestling in quite a while. This show going through a bit of a transitional period, going to kind of become a weekly wrap-up of wrestling and then cover pay-per-views as we are doing tonight. As Brother Jeffro over there, Arson cousin Shawn, Waldo right here, and me, Matt Klein, we've been watching some Ring of Honor New Japan War of the Worlds.
And was it a war?
Oh boy, it was.
Those worlds were warring.
They were warring indeed. Live from New York City.
Shout out to our pals in New York City, like Rudy Asher.
Rudy Asher, big shout out. We'll say it, and you'll see it here. It's on this YouTube channel, promoting a fantastic show by these two gentlemen right here on Arson Brothers Network. Hot Tag. You saw the Young Bucks who were on this show, and we'll get into their match, but promoting Hot Tag. Yeah, I'm rocking some Bucks apparel with you tonight, brother.
And always you have the best tag team in the world on your channel, so
they were looking good tonight. They were looking. And thank you, Rudy, for going out of your way to getting that little plug for the network from the Young Bucks. And if you haven't saw that, look it up here. It's very cool, very cool. Much thanks for that.
Absolutely.
But gentlemen, let's dive in. We opened this thing up with a bit of a thrown together four-way, but it's a War of the Worlds. Why not? Let's throw them in. That's where I'm at. Silas Young versus Bobby Fish versus Kushida versus Dalton Castle.
You forgot one thing.
Oh.
Also at ringside, Beer City Bruiser.
Beer City Bruiser was,
yes.
Was of course,
Beer
was Silas.
Beer City.
He was dressed to wrestle. He should have got in there. Waldo, what do you think on this one?
Well, you know, this was a good match. I mean, it really was a good match, and you had four very talented guys in there. But as a guy, I'm a big fan of Bruce Pritchard. He has a really great show.
Yeah.
Something he always says is, "Who booked this crap?" I mean, was this a PDF booking or something? I mean, come on. I mean, look, I really liked the match, enjoyed it, and I suppose that's the whole thing we're going for here. But really, I mean, we just throw four very talented guys in for absolutely no reason. And I'm one of the. I mean, I think I'm one of the few people these days who watches Ring of Honor weekly. I mean, I still watch it in syndication every week. I have no idea what the goal was here, but still glad my man, what I tell you, number 2 or 3 on my man crush Monday list, Dalton Castle, picking up the win. Happy about that, and glad all these guys were on the show. But you know, just not sure I understand. But hey,
I understand that.
Oh, I really like the. I'm a big Kushida fan, and I was just saying before the match. Actually, I really feel that there's a chance we may actually see Kushida once he gets done with his feud with Takahashi. I could see him actually maybe even being elevated up more towards the top of the card in New Japan. And I don't know, I'm always happy anytime I get to see him. I thought his trunks were really cool tonight. Come out with the Yankees jersey on.
Yeah, that was good. I mean, just a nice little
pan
reference.
But yeah, I'm like you guys. I like all the guys in this match a lot. I really like Silas Young a lot. I think it's, and I agree. I don't know what the real point of the match was. It was very New Japan-esque, as in. We got to get these guys on the show. Let's just throw them together and have a multi-man. It wasn't a tag match, but just a multi-man match, and let them go out there and get the crowd going, and they did.
Isn't it amazing how many similarities there are between Japan and Southern West Virginia?
No, that's you're not wrong, good brother. You are not wrong. Me on this one, definitely, as we said, it was thrown together, and it was for the sake of getting these guys on the show. But I understand that, and I'm fine with that. It happens. It ended up being, especially when it ends up being a good match, and this one was, especially to be a 4-way, which can just be hard to pull off. Let's be real, 3-ways and 4-ways, except in the other department.
But it was a good match, and let's remember the main thing: some good brothers got paid. So there you go.
That's right. Making paychecks. But yeah, a lot of stars. Huge fan of all 4 guys. So yeah, it was. I think it was a very good opener for what ultimately became a very good pay-per-view.
Yeah, sure.
But then we went right into Hangman Page against Kazarian. Interesting contest there. Jeff, how's that chin?
You know, Paige, I know you're watching this, and I'm coming for you. I promise you I will get my receipt for that super kick you put on me. That being said, I was pulling for you, brother.
He's not watching this.
He's not watching. So I'm just going.
I hope you are, brother. I hope you are.
I'm just going to say, and we'll talk about this when we get to it in a minute. I was making the statement at the beginning of the match. I really think it's time to push Page towards the main event of Ring of Honor. I think he's been there for quite a while now. He's earned it. One of the best performers in the company, and he's just one of the best performers, I think, in America right now and Japan. I think Page is highly underrated by a lot of people, but I think it's time to pull the trigger on it. And I thought him and Kazarian just had an awesome match. Love the fact that, you guys have maybe noticed this. We've on WVCW shows, we've worked with Page in different capacities now. He really likes to start his matches off hot with a brawl, and that's what we started off with. As he's making his way to the ring, Kazarian just Tope con Hilo out of the ring, nails him with it, and they just started the brawl from the beginning. There's some great spots. The one where Kazarian did it was almost like a belly to belly suplex release into the security guy, I suppose.
Yeah.
They were seated. I love this match, and I love the fact that Page went over with some underhanded tactics. So I don't know. I loved it. Good job.
John?
Well, for me, first of all, I don't know how long Jeff's going to milk one super kick. One. People take. I mean, it just take at least 50 to knock you down.
I mean, it wasn't even a party.
It wasn't. It's not a party. It doesn't matter. But as Jeff said, that flipping jalapeno at the beginning of the match was great and everything like that. But I really enjoyed the back body drop into the security guy.
Yeah,
and I kept trying to figure out who the security guy was because Jeff and I have been at a couple Ring of Honor shows where we recognized the security. So I was
I'm sure he was a member of an enterprise somewhere to take that.
Absolutely.
Most likely.
Absolutely. But I agree. Adam Page, first of all, take nothing away from Kazarian, another really solid guy, great worker. But Adam Page is a future of the business kind of guy. And he deserves all the great things that are coming his way, quite honestly. And I'm really glad to see he's getting rubs and getting up there. And I agree with Jeff. I think he's on his way to the top of the card because we'll talk about Danielson in the belt a little bit later. Daniels in the belt. So he needs a challenger, and I think Page could be the man.
I think that would be very cool. I'm with you on that. I think it's time to at least start pushing Page towards that level. Maybe not jump him right in. You don't have to necessarily. But I think he's just performing in-ring and character-wise and all of it on an exuberant level right now. And it's really fun to see, especially, as we said, someone that we've got to meet personally and work some shows with. And that's one of the benefits of us getting to, fortunately, be a little piece in this business. You get some cool moments like that.
And I'm still going to get my receipt.
That's what he thinks. We'll see how that plays out.
But we'll print you one, brother. Don't worry about it.
There you go.
I mean, I don't want to make anybody uncomfortable, but
no, you can't have any uncomfortable situations or uncomfortable tag team partners.
We don't do that here.
Or, people that. Anyway. Good match. I enjoyed the match. I want to say you spoke on it, man. I just want to throw this out there. And Daniel's in the same kind of thing, but let's just throw some props to Kazarian, man. I was joking before it with Jeff, saying here comes old man Kazarian. But I mean, Daniels and Kazarian, for wrestling age, are old, and they've been working at such a high level for such a long time. Both of them guys, man. And tonight, both of them, and like I said, we'll get into the Daniels, but a fantastic match here from Kazarian. I think it's overlooked the grand scale that both of those men have played on this era of wrestling that will probably be forgotten in history for the most part.
And that's a thing. That's a really good point, Matt, because both these guys are working at levels that you don't know what their age is. I mean, they're working the same way they worked, 10, 15 years ago.
Exactly.
I mean, they're feeling that same
if
role.
If not better at times.
Yeah. I mean, they're feeling the same kind of role. Like, for example, Jericho does in WWE, that kind of gatekeeper, keep the guys,
And I've got to imagine, and I don't know this, but I feel like if you went and talked to a lot of the guys, the young guys in the Ring of Honor locker room, I bet they really appreciate having both of those guys. I just get the feeling they're both probably somewhat of a locker room leader role.
Well, as we said, being around and on shows, you hear things and stuff. I've heard a lot of good said, especially about Daniels and taking that role in any locker room he's at. I've always heard that said. Never got to work with him in any capacity, but just wanted to speak on that because I think those guys get overlooked on the grand scheme of how important they've been over the last 10 to 15 years.
We need to work with him.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be excellent. From there, a three-way hot tag team match. See what I did there? Sonata and Evil against Sabin and Gresham against War Machine. who War Machine, of course, are the current IWGP Tag Team Champions. Throw that out there. I'll start this one. A fantastic three-way. Man, this is still real close to maybe my favorite match of the night. I know you guys are argue that, but it's. I don't know, but it's right. If it's not, it's right. It's right there. I just really enjoyed it. I think I'm where you're at on it actually, but this is probably my second. I just really enjoyed it, and I know Jeff's going to speak on it. War Machine are working on. Oh man, it's flowing right now, man. These guys. I said to these guys while we were watching it. I wish they were in the Authors of Pain spot on NXT.
Absolutely.
I think that would help NXT be a lot hotter because I think they can and eventually will get super hot in NXT. But I wish they were in that spot right now, and especially imagine them in some of the DIY matches against Big them. That'd be some fantastic stuff. But
there was so many great parts of this match. I mean, I just loved everything about it. Honestly, I thought everybody looked good in it. I do wonder. I feel like Gresham was the one guy that probably the least experienced in this group, and I mean, for the most part, he held his own in this. I thought.
Yeah, a few couple of guys, nothing major.
But War Machine. I mean, I said it on Hot Tag a few weeks ago. I know it sounds crazy. They're the IWGP Tag Champs, but I still feel like they're one of the most underrated teams in the world. Like, because people still don't really bring them up like they should. They're amazing. They're amazing.
Yes.
Every time I've ever saw them, I've been nothing but, super impressed. And, like, tonight, the one thing that really stood out to me, Hansen's one spot where he gets the two guys in opposite corners and just goes back and forth and back and forth. For a guy his size, I mean, I get gassed watching him. And this guy it goes on for so long, it gets to the point where, like, the crowd's just going insane. And in my head, I just keep imagining that happening in an NXT ring. And like you said, just I can hear. I feel like the place would come off. The roof will come off the place. They're just amazing, and of course, I'm a huge Los Ingobernables fan. I love Evil, love Sonata. I loved everything about this. It was awesome. Yeah, it was one of my matches of the night as well.
Okay. Well, now that lost ignorant Bojangles stuff is over, we'll talk. All these teams did a great job. Let me say, first of all, and we were talking about this before we went on the air, I'm normally not a real big fan of particularly like three-way, four-way matches, that sort of thing. I think they have their place, and they have their time.
Brother, you must have hated Miracle on the Mountain last year.
I refuse to discuss that right now. But anyway, I'm not a fan of that kind of thing because many times I feel like we talked about the first match on this card, which was a fine match. It feels like you're throwing things together to get people in, and I absolutely hate that. But this match was fantastic. But all the teams were great. But I think we have to throw that praise on War Machine, like we are. Like you guys said, if they were in the Authors of Pain role, and I don't think the Authors of Pain are necessarily bad.
No, that's not
they're not necessarily good.
But they're not. But they're not. They're nowhere near the where War Machine is.
Oh no.
And one of the things that really impresses me about War Machine is they're so versatile. You see them work different teams that work different styles, and they go to that team style. Now, these are two huge men, and we've watched them fly around with the Young Bucks. I mean, like
literally,
literally, like they're 190 pounds. I mean, it's really insane. And so tonight, I just think they're so good. And, you and I agreed on that episode that they are one of the most underrated teams. Now, I know they're IWGP heavyweight tag champions, all that sort of thing, but they are underrated, and they deserve more. And and that's one team I really hope we do see tread the waters in Orlando eventually because they
deserve it.
They deserve it. That's the thing. These are two guys that deserve to get the. Again, I think guys need to get paid, and they're two guys that deserve that WWE money. And I mean, they're fantastic. I mean, and taking another away from the guy, but Hansen is so good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he is just so good. And let me give a little shout out. If you saw this show, the little head helmets they wore to the ring, Hansen was looking like a little bit of a blown up Matt Cross there with that mask. and the big beard.
He
So
was.
I was going.
He was looking like the father of Havoc.
Not the son of
No,
that.
not the son of Havoc. It's the father of Havoc.
and that's a good thing, because I love Matt Cross. But anyway, but yeah, great.
I didn't know Havoc had a son.
No, I didn't either.
I think he has a daughter.
Yeah, well.
Next, we had Will Ospreay and Jay Wyatt. One of the, I guess, unique matches of the night. Jeff, I'll start with you, sir.
Well, and I think we all kind of agreed on this. Look, this may not be a popular thing for me to say because I know, I mean, we're huge New Japan fans, and I think there is a tendency for people that are big fans of New Japan to put anything that New Japan does over as perfect. And
yeah, that's true.
And that's it's a blind mentality because no promotion's perfect. And so it may not be popular for me to say, but honestly, up until this point, I've not been super impressed with Jay White. And I don't know why. I mean, it's not even that I think he's horrible. I think his looks a little. There needs to be some work done on that. There different things. He's just never connected with me, and I think we all kind of was in agreement on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
honestly,
there was probably a moment in this match where something happened and something clicked, and these guys went to another gear, and this match ended up being fantastic.
it really did.
There was a couple times I thought that Jay White killed Will Ospreay. But no, I mean I don't know that they found their gear there, and there was a moment where I thought Jay White may grow on me yet. And I mean I'll be the first to say there's a lot of wrestlers that are some of my favorites in the world right now that I started out not liking at all. So what I'm saying is I can see Jay White growing on me. That's what I'm trying to say. So I mean, but yeah, this match really good.
Really great match. The thing, and we all did agree on that. And you know, if you talk to me anywhere online or wherever, you'll know that I'm not a look guy. What I mean is, you know, I never take a wrestler's look into a lot of consideration. Some people say, well, yeah, he doesn't look like a wrestler or this. I'm not like, but Jay White's look does bother me,
Yeah.
and I can't explain it, and I'm not that kind of fan at all. But as Jeff said, I do think there was a point in this match where they went up to another level, and Jay White did some really good stuff. Now, granted, he was in there with Ospreay, who is an amazing talent.
Absolutely.
I think we have different levels of like for him.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's a sensational talent,
Oh, yeah.
and definitely has the ability to elevate someone else. Now, the one thing I will say. And I almost would have to rewatch this match again because sometimes some of these really, you know, high-flying impact moves look so spectacular that sometimes they can cover up other things.
Yeah.
You know, and so I would need to go back and watch a little bit. But I wanted to touch on one thing that Jeff mentioned really quick, and you're 100% right about this, about, you know, many of us who like love New Japan, for example, we think New Japan can do no wrong, kind of thing. But I think that transcends across all companies, really. You know, I know people who honestly, who honestly will think that no matter what WWE does, it's okay, it's right.
I know people that have been impacted.
Yeah.
I've known those people.
Oh, they're still there. Get on any thing on Facebook that one of these companies posts, and you'll see, you know, people calling each other fanboy of this and fanboy of that. So I mean, I do think that transcends. But I agree. I mean, I've been sort of lukewarm on Jay White. I think I'm still there for the most part, but I do think he showed more tonight than I've ever seen out of him, for sure.
100% agree.
Yeah, I'm pretty much exactly with you guys on that. Jay White, I'm not a fan, but he's building in my mind, and tonight was definitely, for me, coming just a pure fan and enjoyment of watching someone definitely grew. I agree. There's some problems with the look. I don't know why. I guess they're going for something, maybe something Japanese that we're not even aware of. But it's you know, I don't know. But it's not working. And speaking of Ospreay, I am a big fan of Ospreay. I think he's a little bit overrated from where he's actually at. That's what we were speaking of, and that's not. Again, it's hard to say that and not saying I'm taking it up on him by any means. Huge fan, actually. I think he's a little bit overrated on the grand scheme of where he's at in wrestling. But nonetheless, I thought they had a fantastic match tonight. I thought it started just a little slow and really getting figuring each other out to a degree, or maybe figuring the crowd out, or just trying to work it. But once they really got in gear, they had a fantastic contest.
And let me ask you something, Matt. You're talking about how you like Ospreay, but
Yeah.
you're not, you think he's overrated. So we were talking about how this match tonight kind of showed us something different out of Jay White.
Yeah.
Did this match show you anything more from Ospreay that you?
It did, because I think I like this because I really like the Ricochet Ospreay match, the controversial one, of course. But I think Ricochet's definitely the better performer there.
Arson Brothers love controversy.
But do they? He did tonight because I think he got in there with Jay Wyatt, who, even no matter where you like him or not, is coming up in the business. I mean, he's behind Will Ospreay on that scale of learning and knowing things. And I thought Ospreay not only easily worked with him, but excelled. I think Ospreay helped excel Jay White, and that, to me, said more about Ospreay. It proved a little more to me on validating some of where he's at.
Because he slowed down and worked.
A little bit, it honestly is. I realize that's a joking statement, and we love to do that, but a little bit so. You got to see that there's under there, and I love the flash and the pizzazz. Like I said, I love that Ricochet and Ospreay match, but I want to know that there's others under there.
You know what I think it showed?
And I think it showed it.
It showed that there's some steak to go with the sizzle. If that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
The sizzle's awesome.
Exactly.
But there's a little bit of steak there too, and that's good.
You know what has steak and sizzle? An Adam Page super kick.
It does. That it does. Okay, guys, from there we got a 6-man contest. RPG Vice and Goto against the Briscoes and Bully Ray. So, fun little match in New York. We saw Bully Ray with a Roman Reigns type entrance coming down from the crowds. I mean, I guess it was the New York
If we're talking
thing.
about Roman Reigns, I'm leaving.
He's out of here. He's out of here. I can't believe Roman didn't show up tonight.
Oh man, I wish. Could have beat the traffic home.
But I guess that was a nod to New York.
Yeah.
With that, and that's cool. I'll start this one. I thought it was fine. It's probably my least favorite match of the night, but that's not saying it as a bad thing. I enjoyed this match. I think the Briscoes and Bully Ray picked up the win. I like them together. I think it works and makes sense as far as the Bully Ray coming in. That is fun. I think the Briscoes, and admittedly so, are down a little bit right now on the scheme of where they have been in ROH, and it comes in cycles, of course. But, I think Rocky Romero is the most underrated wrestler in the world. By the way, I know Jeff knows that, but John, I don't know if you know that, but I think Rocky Romero is the most underrated wrestler in the world, or one of at least.
I gotta think about that.
Yeah. And I enjoyed it. It was a good little match. It was, like I said, my least favorite of the night, but that's, again, not in a bad way.
All right. Well, I enjoyed the match. Thought it was a very good match. Again, I don't know. I'd have to think about my least favorite necessarily because I really enjoyed everything on this card.
It was a very good show.
Yeah,
Top to bottom.
and
There's nothing bad.
Right, and when you're ranking shows, it's like you feel like when
It's
you say
hard,
least
yeah.
favorite, it's still but it's still a good thing. Man, I want to touch on one thing you talked about where the Briscoes are right now. But I think it's okay for where they are because they've been on top for so long. I'm a big Briscoe fan, but we've saw particularly Jay, be the champion and be undefeated for Lord forever and all that sort of stuff. So I think where they are now is a good place for them. And I also want to say it's really great to see Bully Ray back to sort of that TNA character. Because we were talking tonight, there was probably a year there that Bully Ray was just about the only reason to turn on TNA.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm not saying there were a lot of other talented wrestlers there, but the way they were being used was just sort of drab. But Bully Ray was fantastic. I've been to TNA shows where Bully Ray was the only reason to go.
Right.
So I'm really glad to see him in that role. I thought his entrance was kind of cool, out there because that is sort of his people, and that's a good thing. One other thing I want to add is I'm really happy to see. ROH bring back this 6-man title kind of thing.
Yeah, that's fun.
I think that's cool. So, good match. I have anything negative to say about it? I thought all the guys worked hard. I'm not sure about that Rocky Romero thing. I got to figure that out. But other than that, I bet they fine worker and good match.
My one takeaway from this match, I will agree with Matt. Like in a night of great matches, this was the least great, but still great. That's a good way to put it, right?
Yeah.
It was a great match. It was fun. It was a good brawl. I think you needed that brawl at least. You needed at least one good brawl like that on the show, and that you got that. You got your table spot. But to me, the one takeaway from the match was maybe my pick for most underrated wrestler in the world, Hiroki Goto. I loved the end of the match when there was that segment with Goto and Bully Ray, and all I could think about was that I want so bad to see Bully Ray in New Japan in the Never division, because I want to see Bully Ray and Minoru Suzuki. I think that would be awesome.
That would be.
And I love the stuff with him and Goto. And like Goto may be my pick for most underrated because I think he doesn't get the love he deserves on the New Japan level. So, but yeah, that was my favorite moment of the match was seeing them. I kind of wish we would have just got a singles match with them tonight.
That would be great.
And speaking of, this is kind of throwing back something I thought of earlier I wanted to say. I actually think the War Machine match earlier when we were talking about how that was like a three-way or whatever, I actually think I would have liked that match even more if it was just War Machine against Sonata and Evil.
Yeah, I would have liked it better.
I actually think that would have been, but that's neither here nor there. It popped in my head earlier.
Yeah.
But yeah, this match was awesome, and I want Bubba Ray, Bully Ray, to go to New Japan.
That would be fantastic.
Never division.
And I want Bully Ray versus Scott Norton. I want sort of a throwback match.
I want that too.
That's something I think
I want it
amazing.
too, baby. That would be awesome.
Bring it in. I mean,
brother, if you'd have heard the pop that Scott Norton got from the Arson compound when he walked out for that battle royal that night of Wrestle Kingdom, we're all big Norton fans.
It might have been the biggest Arson pop of the year.
Heck, he got a pretty big pop there in Japan. So, hey, there you go.
Absolutely. And next we saw the villain Marty Scurll defending his television championship against a returning to ROH Matt Sydal.
Hippie.
Yeah, he just a cloud of smoke and he's back, eh?
Yeah.
I thought Matt Riddle was coming in.
Yeah.
Sorry.
They were hanging about that. They were back there for in the locker room chilling. You know.
Stevie wasn't here, so
He was not here.
I was all I'm saying. No, this was awesome. I love Marty Scurll. Man, the villain. What? And not the last we saw of Marty Scurll tonight.
No, it sure was.
Man, he's awesome. Marty Scurll's awesome. And yeah, this was a fun match, and the right guy went over. That's what I got to say. The right guy went over. Marty Scurll, still holding that belt. I loved it. Marty Scurll's awesome. Matt Sydal, you're cool too.
Well, first of all, love Marty Scurll. Let me put that out there. And you said it wasn't the last time we saw him. We can never see enough Marty Scurll, in my opinion. Any man that his finisher is the crossface chicken wing in 2017, I want to see as much of as I possibly can.
Roscoe Rooster.
Darn right, buddy. Roscoe, I love Roscoe Rooster. Anyway, that's all that aside. One thing I wanted to mention is Sydal is sort of known as a high flyer, right? Yeah. But I don't think we really talked about this while it's going on. But did you guys notice how technically Sydal worked tonight?
He was very grounded tonight.
Yeah, but in there was, and I love that when people are that versatile. We talked about it with War Machine, and get props to him, man. I mean, he got down and flat out, technically wrestled with Scurll, and I think that's huge props. But as Jeff said, right guy went over. That I think he should have a lengthy reign with that TV title, and I look forward to seeing where it goes.
Speaking of lengthy reigns, did you see the size of that pecker?
You could definitely call Marty a peckerhead. It's right there. It's right there.
Pecker.
Get it. No, I thought it was a good little match. Like Shawn said, Sydal working more of the technical style to accommodate it. I think it helped the match, made it better. Sydal, a nice little return to Ring of Honor. Everyone thinks he got a nice.
He ain't got nowhere else he can
go. He can work for Impact, baby. He's still working there.
Yeah, Continental.
The weird Impact and ROH thing. Everybody working both right now weirds me out. I don't like it.
Well, let me just say this.
Fine, I get it. But
I mentioned that there were some similarities between Southern West Virginia and Japan. Well, there definitely are some differences. So, Matt, if you want to come to Southern West Virginia,
come on down.
no problem here, buddy.
No problem.
We'd love to see you.
Ain't nothing you do that wouldn't fit in here.
You know, there's a show going on June 3rd. I'd love to see you at in place of some other people, but I won't get into that right now.
But,
or maybe I will. Who knows?
But yeah, great little match. Marty, of course, needed to go over and did. From there into a match that I'm sure Shawn had no interest in, the Young Bucks taking on Naito and Bushi. Lost in Grenoble. What did I just say? I got close to it.
That was the closest I've ever heard you get.
I got close.
Yeah.
I got close.
Los Ingobernables de Japón.
There you go. Wow.
LIJ. Best stable in wrestling.
Yeah. So about that, let me start because you know.
Please.
Let me tell you about
Please.
the match of the night, okay, and about the performers of the night. As always, every time they're on the show, they're stealing it. Haters can hate. The Young Bucks. Now, you know, the lost ignorant Bojangles guys, you know, they ran into a roadblock tonight. Yeah, I know Naito loves to get in the ring and lay down and do all these things. But you can't lay around when you're in there with the best team in the world, Mr. Griffith. So when you're in there with the world famous Jackson Brothers, the best tag team breathing air on God's green earth today, you can't do that. And what happened? He got a few, maybe thousands of super kicks for his liking, along with a lot of flips and all those things that my friends who hate the Young Bucks hate. And the more they do those things, the more I love it. So you know, I hope some of my older friends, their hearts are okay if they watch this match. And I was very, but I genuinely do think this was match of the night. I really do. Of course, Naito, those guys are great in all seriousness, and just fantastic, man. This match, in my opinion, had everything you could ever want. You talking about the sizzle and the steak, such psychology. You know, a lot of people, that's one of the people. Well, there's no psychology. Well, there is. I mean, and it was fantastic, great match. I do think the right team went over based on the fact that I don't know how those guys could have held the ROH titles with their schedules.
No,
in Japan.
No.
Yeah, I don't see how that could have worked. But again, my match of the night, fantastic match, Mr. Griffith.
Well, being that we are the hot tag guys, I'm going to follow up here, and I'm going to have to tag in with you here because I also agree match of the night. You know, I give Shawn a lot of crap, but I'm actually a huge Young Bucks fan. And, of course, Naito's maybe my favorite wrestler this week.
Yeah.
And
This is what time
Today,
it is. Hold
this
on.
hour.
Yeah. Hey, hold on, folks.
but no, love Los Ingobernables. I was super excited for this match going in, and it more than delivered. I loved everything about it. I thought everybody looked great in this match. I thought the Bucks tag team stuff looked as crisp as ever. I thought Naito's entrance is still maybe my favorite entrance. Just kicking the belt down to the ring, disrespect. I love the spitting spot. I loved Naito goes to do the suck it and then just spits, and that of course fires up. I think it was Nick. Just awesome stuff. Bushi got in his missed spot.
Yeah.
Which led to Matt. It was Matt being blinded and super kicking Bushi, Naito, Nick, and the ref. And
I know some pacemakers that had to be replaced.
Oh yeah,
that's another story.
Yeah. My only complaint was why was everybody selling the super kick?
Well, you did. I mean, you're still selling it.
Anyway, no, I loved this. Huge fan of this match. My match of the night,
Yeah.
and I think just 4 incredible performers, and absolutely loved it. I have nothing bad to say. Yeah, and like you said, the Young Bucks had to win this. I mean, honestly, it wouldn't have made sense any other way. And I do think it made sense that Bushi took the pin because Naito is the Intercontinental Champ, and I just loved it. So
I was just going to throw in one other thing. I'm sorry, Matt. Before you start, did you know something I saw tonight that you don't see a lot out of the Young Bucks is they really got fired up and sold some of this, like the spitting. I mean,
Yeah.
they got fired up and they were throwing a lot of punches in there. You know, usually you see a lot of more finesse move. You know, but I saw it was almost more of a little bit of an even. I used to say the Young Bucks are getting more edgy, but it was almost more of an edge. You're like, we really hate these guys, and we're going in. There was a few definitely built in that. You know, it was totally different than we're talking about throwing guys on the card just to get them on there.
Yeah,
I mean, you felt like there could be more. You know, there's definitely a road here where they could do more with these four if they chose to, for sure.
Yeah, I am with you guys. It was my match of the night also. I thought it was fantastic. I thought the Bucks were as fine a performance as you will see of theirs. I mean, not that I don't know that there's necessarily a bad one, but I think it was as fine as any match you see. I thought they were excellent. And again, as we said, across the ring, I mean, you got four of the best in the world in the ring in this match. Let's be honest. And various rankings and stuff. Not trying to debate on that, but it's four amazing talents, more than even four really good wrestlers. You're talking four, the best going, and they went out there and proved it exactly. And it was, so he said, it was booked exactly out, and it did to be. Fantastic match, and I agree, match of the night. So it's 3 for 3 on that match of the night.
Hey, you think all the revivals sitting home they watch this?
You know what they say about the revival. Or what Cody says about the revival.
Oh, Cody's right.
Oh. Man.
Go watch Being the Elite.
Well, as I told you.
Telling you.
Jeff says they're the best, but you can't be the best in the world when you're sitting at home on the couch.
Are you sure that's who Jeff says is the best?
Oh, I think it's not the revival, it's the revolt.
Oh.
Those guys.
I do love Zane Riley.
Oh, no, I do too. I'm a huge fan of the revolt.
Yeah. Well, I think
we got another match to talk about.
We have two more matches, two more great matches. Next one, excellent Tanahashi against Adam Cole, baby.
I'm going to surprise you guys.
Surprises?
I was a little let down by
I
this
was
match.
underwhelmed as well.
I was a little let down.
I thought this would be the match of the night. This is the reason I really wanted to watch the show. Not that I didn't want to see everything else, but this was what completely drew me in. I thought it was a little bit of a letdown too, man.
It was a good match. It was just not what I expected. It was a little short, and I know why. I get why it was short. I know they had a certain time they had to get off the air, and I know they had some stuff they had to get to after the match. I just felt like, to me, this match, I felt like we talked about like earlier with the Jay White match when they hit that next gear. I felt like right at the time that they should have been hitting the next gear was when the match was over. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yes.
It was like it never got the chance to get to that next level that could have took it and elevated it to the match that I was expecting it to be between two amazing performers. But of course, this was Adam Cole's send-off.
Yes.
And but Tanahashi won, which doesn't really surprise me. No, I mean, I was a little underwhelmed. Not that I'm saying it was a bad match. I'm just saying it wasn't what I expected.
If I can piggyback on that for just a minute, I'm going to tell you guys something else that may shock you. But I wasn't underwhelmed.
Yep.
Do you know why I wasn't underwhelmed?
Why is that?
Tanahashi's overrated. I'm not a big Tanahashi fan.
Wow.
I would take Adam Cole any day over Tanahashi. Tanahashi's fine.
Wow.
Good little worker.
Wow.
Good little worker. I mean,
wow.
He can make a few dollars, but
I think he's lost a step in the last 6 months to a year, but
I don't think he ever had it. But he's okay. I mean, he's a good worker. I've got nothing against him, but he's not. I mean, I wasn't that let down because I was wondering if he can hang with Cole. Quite honestly, just one guy's opinion.
I feel like I wish I could do the Vince McMahon swallow right now. Because I'm like, what?
I was not expecting to hear that. Okay, interesting, very interesting.
What do you think, man?
I thought the match was fine. I expected more. I did expect a little more from it. I agree with Jeff. I don't think it ever caught that gear. It could have been time problem, or it could have been the fact that it's friggin' Tanahashi and Adam Cole's last match, and that's all they wanted to do.
That's
I don't even mean that negatively. Let's just be real.
Yeah.
So, but I thought it was fine, and it didn't matter because the money was after the match.
The money was definitely after the match.
It didn't matter what they did, in all honesty.
Break down what happened for us after the match because it was pretty awesome.
All right. And it was Cole's send-off. I started the curtain call. Let's get streamers going. Thank you, Adam. Blah blah. Here come the Bucks out. Getting ready for some super kick action, but they don't. You know, as per se, when you're leaving, the club takes you out. That's how it goes. Well, we thought that was happening. Thought the Bucks were doing the deed, but they didn't. They pulled back. They hugged.
They may have even kissed.
Well, they may have. It's fine. I hope they did.
Hey,
I hope they did.
we're open-minded around here.
Exactly. But then, lights out. What happened?
Then the Undertaker showed up.
Kenny Omega on the Tron on the video screen, saying that. Well, he let them know that, hey, Cole tried to fire you guys. What are you doing here? What are you doing here? And he said he had some bad news for them. It was in the form of a big old pecker head.
Well, what he said was that they were heroes.
They did.
And that when there's a hero, there always has to be a
villain.
That he did.
Yeah. And a guy that's not overrated came out in the name of Marty Scurll with the coolest umbrella I've ever seen. Somebody make me that umbrella. I wish there was a place.
I know a guy.
I wish there was a place in Princeton I could pick up that umbrella. Man, that umbrella was sweet. It's actually too sweet, but anyway. So we then saw.
We saw the villain come out looking villainous as could be and do the deed, as we've saw many times at the Bullet Club. If you leave, you got to be taken care of. And he did. The Bucks looked a little confused for a second on that.
Yeah.
But they were fine with it by the end, of course.
And so, yeah, Marty Scurll, your newest Bullet Club member.
So, and I mean, we've talked about it for us. If you've been watching Being the Elite, they're showing YouTube. You kind of felt it.
You kind of felt it.
You kind of felt it.
A lot of chemistry between all four of those. Well, five of those guys. Actually.
That's what I think. That they just end up being very like-minded. Yeah, and it was inevitable to happen. And it's cool. It makes it more. I like that. It makes it better when it's people that are.
And I know people always say there's too many people in the Bullet Club now and blah blah blah. But I actually kind of think that was a good thing because now as we'll discuss, we're not sure what's going on with Cody Rhodes in the Bullet Club. So I think for the ROH contingent there, it's a good thing to have the Bucks plus one other person. Yeah. You know, because traditionally,
as you said, it's the new Super Click. They kind of ran with that with Cole, and that was cool.
Yeah. I mean, but they didn't call it that. They even did it with AJ before he left. And so I think that's a good thing. There's a strength in numbers kind of thing, and I think I loved it.
I loved it too. I thought it was. Yeah. I think it was the hottest segment.
It was the best moment.
It was the moment of the pay-per-view as far as just a moment, and it was really good, and it was executed very well. The little tease and with Kenny, who we hoped would be there, but
by the way, I just want to say, Kenny Omega. Even in that little pre-recorded segment, this dude just bleeds charisma.
Oh man, yeah.
Like
the crowd. I mean, the crowd eat the videotape promo up as much as anything they did all night.
It's true, and I still feel like there's no way that at some point, sooner than later, Omega doesn't end up making some big WWE dollars.
Well, Vince better fix his visa problems. All I can say is that work visa.
But if he don't, it'll be his own choosing.
Yeah, exactly.
He's one of the more charismatic guys in professional wrestling. It's just crazy. Like, I was really noticing that tonight. I mean, it's not that I didn't notice it before, but there's something about it really jumped out to me tonight. And I was like, this guy, you talk about the it factor. He literally has the it factor.
Yeah,
oozing with machismo.
You know, he has so much of that it factor. I mean, I bet Vince wishes he could bottle some of that and give to some of these guys that he's really wanting to get up. I mean, honestly, I'm being serious.
Sprinkle it around.
Sprinkle it around.
I'll take a little bit.
Like the guy with the salt. What's his name? The chef. You know. Sprinkle.
I mean, people. I mean, if you're hosting a show, you wish you could have just a tiny bit of that charisma like that.
No, absolutely.
He's up there, one of the best in the world by far.
Agreed.
So, great stuff.
And finally, your main event attraction of War of the Worlds was a triple threat Ring of Honor World. Let's see, how was it introduced? Christopher Daniels was introduced as the Ring of Honor World Champion of the World. So
that's a big deal.
Yeah, you're the world champion of the world. That's an incredible deal. Anyway, now a little rib there to whoever the announcer was a little botch. But anyway, championship match. Christopher Daniels the champion in a 3-way against Jay Lethal and Cody. Cody.
Cody.
Cody Rhodes. I can say that. I can say Rhodes all day.
You just got sued.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I'll break this one down first. I thought it was a fun little three-way. I think the time element definitely, I think, played a part in this. I think from beginning to end, honestly, I think they knew they were working with time limit, and everything felt a little rushed. That's not dumping on it. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was one of the better three-ways, and as you've said, and we've said, three-ways, they're just hard to execute. I think that's why they come across as bad sometimes. But I don't think this was one of those. I thought it was executed well, and they did a good job. Did feel a little rush. There was some surprise during the combat. Daniels went over. I expected it for some reason, just because Cody's so up in the air on where he's at, and I don't think it's going back to lethal right now. So I thought it was a fun little main event. I think maybe it could have been for War of the Worlds. Maybe you could have done something different for your main. Maybe, I don't know.
I think it needed 5 more minutes.
Yeah, 5 more. It was as you spoke of. It just kind of got to that gear. We saw about 2 minutes of it or so, and then it was a take-on spot that was just seemingly out of the blue. Not that it was bad, but just a little odd, and I think it was time rushed. Which, you got to work with what you get as far as that. So,
yeah. Well, that's one thing I think ROH needs to work on. I mean, I love Ring of Honor, as you guys know. I'm a big fan. But that's one, all of us have been involved in production of wrestling, and you guys involved in commentary, and I am, unless I'm talking about BJ Whitmer. They've got to find a way to keep these first, every how many matches they're doing on time.
Right.
Because we've seen this happen time and time again with their mains on their pay-per-views. Jeff and I went to Best in the World last year, and they had this, it was supposed to be the biggest rematch of all time with Lethal and Briscoe, and it was a great match. But it felt like it could have been a Raw main event or something.
And the ending was like, oh.
That's it?
Yeah.
It's over? Yeah. And so, they've got to find a way to get this under control. And this was a fine match. But to me, this kind of almost felt like a bit of a filler feud for Daniels in some ways.
Yeah,
because I don't know, unless it's an Adam Page or something like that, I don't know if they really know where they're going. Jay Lethal loved